Since the release of CSGO, there have been many various new updates created to make the game that much better, but not all of them have been so successful. Today, we will be going over the top 5 worst CSGO updates to date. My name is Brayden, and welcome to Valve Follower. As always guys, the order we put these updates in does not reflect which is better or which is worse, because as updates go, they all suck in different shapes and forms. Also in this video, we will only be talking about specific areas of an update and not the entire update as a whole, because that would be way too much to go over. And at number 5, we have the AUG update. The AUG as a weapon was not really being used much because there were better alternatives such as the AK or the M4. Most people that used it were probably new to the game and only used it because you could ADS with it. People complained that if they were to ever use the AUG, it would need a small little buff, but it's fair to say that the CSGO devs took this slightly out of proportion and the gun was buffed to become an absolute monster. Literally shredding through enemies at unreal speeds, this left a whole lot of the community outraged, and there was almost no alternative to match it. Within the same month as it was buffed, it was also patched, and rightfully so. This pattern is pretty redundant throughout every gun buff in CSGO history, with a few exceptions of course, but for the most part, I'd say it's pretty much the same process. And at number 4, we have the AWP nerf. This essentially made moving with the AWP and getting a clear sight a whole heck of a lot harder, and sometimes making for quite unfairly advantageous rounds.
Oh my friend. What the hell is going on? This is the prima aprilis joke.
It made it so much harder to stop an opposing rush with the AWP, which wasn't easy in the first place. When the enemy is right up in your face dodging bullets, it turns into quite a panicky situation for you, and well, the AWP is not the best choice in that situation. It also made movement speed while scoping slower than ever before, so turning around corners whilst aiming down the scope on the AWP became much riskier than it was before. This affected the competitive scene for quite a while, as many major mechanics would if they were changed, as many top players had to readjust their playstyle with the AWP to accommodate for these changes. And at number 3, we have the SMG run and gun update. This update kind of split the community because a lot of people argue that the update hadn't made SMGs as overpowered as they were being portrayed to be. A lot of the community complained that after the update, people could literally just spray and pray. As far as I'm concerned, is true, which shouldn't have a place in a game that is so closely revolved around skill as CSGO. This problem was made even worse in the Revolver update, when pretty much every viable rifle was nerfed, meaning that SMGs are going to be bought much more often than they were before in place of rifles, which is bad. That's really bad. Up next, we have the CZ update, and this is one where you really just want to bang your head against the wall, because let's be real, the gun was completely broken.
If they are still perched up on short, it's kind of their go-to strat. If they need to do it, Smith just erupts from the smoke.
And if you paired that baby with an AWP, you could kiss the enemy team good night. When a $300 pistol is out shooting M4s, you know you have a problem. It was a tank. People called for a nerf, and some people even said that the CZ should be removed from the game, which of course couldn't happen because once you implement a new gun with new skins to the mix, removing it becomes really tricky, seeing as though people already own the skins of that weapon that are worth real money. When Valve came to fix the problem, you better believe that that gun was nerfed to oblivion. But the problem was that the gun was rendered useless after that update, and nobody thought twice about equipping a Tech 9 or 5.7 over it. And Valve updated the weapon yet again a few months later, where the CZ got a much needed buff because of how terrible it had been in its preceding nerf. And at number 1, we have the most requested item on this list for sure. It's the R8 Revolver. Now this gun was added to CSGO for the winter update this year, and let's just say it was an absolute monster of a weapon that obviously had no place in a game like CSGO. It was a one-shot pistol from medium range to the chest, you know, the chest, the easiest part to hit of an enemy, with an extremely precise left mouse accuracy and a less accurate but much more spammy right click. Within 3 days of being added to the game, Valve somehow noticed what a silly addition it was, because I mean nobody was complaining about it at all. And it obviously seems like a legitimately good addition to the game. Am I right? They nerfed it down and to make it a bit less powerful, but the R8 Revolver is still, for most, an obvious choice over the Deagle. The gun literally literally de-established CSGO as a game for a few days, being the only weapon that most people were using. ESL even refused to play the patched version of CSGO that included the R8 in their tournament, going back to when times were simpler. After all this complaining and talk about CSGO being the Wild West, I really like the revolver after the patch and everything, and I've always wanted one to be in the game, just not like it was first implemented. Alright guys, that does it for this countdown. Again, I feel it necessary to explain that yes, we know that these are not the only horrible updates over the long history of CS, and we might have missed some facepalm-worthy updates. That being said, what is the best or funniest moment you've ever had with these weapons while they were in their broken states? Let us know, as well as what countdown you want to see next. Your idea just might turn into a full-scale video, so let us know. My name is Brayden, links to all my social accounts will be in the description below. Special thanks to Jasper again for writing the script for this video. He's awesome. You guys can go subscribe to him on YouTube, link will be in the description, and I will see you guys in the next video.
You mean you may try not to be and avoid it? Say, oh, let the senators take care of it, or